No, you'd have these firms go out and buy 2,000 houses. We don't want it. We want you to buy the houses, not them.
But it's unclear if it will get signed right away. Last weekend, Trump suggested he won't sign any new measures unless Congress passes legislation that would require voters to show proof of citizenship. Jennifer King, Washington.
Investigators are continuing to determine the exact reason a man with a rifle crashed into a large Michigan synagogue yesterday. Federal officials are saying it was an attack carried out by a 41-year-old naturalized U.S. citizen born in Lebanon. This is AP News. Cambodian governments are working to shut down scam centers.
The Cambodian government has said it's close to shutting down all online scam centers operating in the Southeast Asian country. Chihei Sinarith, a senior minister, told the Associated Press that the government has targeted 250 suspected sites since last July, and officers have already closed about 200 of them. Speaking in one of the alleged scam centres that was raided by police, Municipal Police Colonel Van Kemra told the AP how the operation worked.
They fake the uniforms, the identity cards, and they generate many fake faces by using AI.
Officials also say there's a connection to human trafficking, as they filed lawsuits against about 700 ringleaders and repatriated almost 10,000 foreigners who worked at the centres. I'm Karen Shamas.
I'm Haya Pinjwan.
This is 8:20 a.m. WCPT Willow Springs and streaming worldwide at WCPT820.com. We are Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter. Now, your WCPT 820 weather update.
From the Weatherology Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Laura Lockwood. A high wind warning continues until 4 p.m. this afternoon. Rain showers likely overnight, otherwise cloudy skies expected. Lows level off around 39. Southwest winds 20 to 25 miles per hour. Cloudy skies with a few peaks of sun. Friday, daytime highs approaching 48. Lows level off around 31. Friday night, mainly cloudy skies expected. And that's your latest Chicago weather update. Currently, it's 45 degrees.
Get the last roof you'll ever need with steel roofing from Menards. Steel roofing provides your home with the best protection from wind, hail, and fire. Choose from 29 stylish colors to enhance your home's appearance. Available in cut-to-length panels that cover a large area for a fast installation. Shop our selection of roofing products today. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening this week.
Save big money at Menards.
WCPT 820, Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter.
Welcome to Choose Views with Richard Chew. Get ready to dive into a world of insightful conversations and thought-provoking discussions.
As progressives, our job is to have an all-inclusive, full-on assault with all of our players.
A show that focuses on moving our political, social, economic, gender, and cultural conversation forward.
And all of our players means all of our players.
It's Choose Views. And now, here's your host, Richard Chew.
Good Friday morning, progressives, and welcome to the March 13th. Is Friday the 13th. It's Friday the 13th, and we're going to get all the bad things out and beat up the bad things. Friday the 13th. March 13th, 2026 edition of Choose Views. 773-763-9278 is the number. Find my show on Facebook Live, TuneIn Radio, and YouTube. Email me at richard@WCPT820.com. Follow me on X, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, Blue Sky, Threads, Substack, and Spoutable. Catch all of our shows by subscribing to the WCPT podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon, all the places to get all the good stuff. And there you can get Choose Views, featured interviews, Joan Esposito, live, local, and progressive, Driving It Home with Patty Vasquez, It's the Democracy Stupid with Edwin Eisendrath, and, of course, all of our other great shows and interviews. HeartlandSignal.com. That's the place you got to go and hang out because of the good stuff that we have over there. As always, say it every day for a reason. So you aren't stuck going, what do? I need to find more information. I need to talk to people. I need to send them stuff. Minnesota Republicans introduced a bill that promotes reproductive health junk science. What is wrong with these people? I mean, it's just like they want America to be dumb and stupid. taking money out of education, but then promoting a bill that gets into some craziness around reproductive science. My goodness. Let's see. This is one that you'll appreciate. CNN reports that according to the AAA, gas prices in many parts of Pennsylvania are up about 40 cents over the past month. That's 40 cents per gallon, coinciding with the start of the Iran war. A driver said you can definitely feel it, along with everything else, especially when you travel a lot. So here's what I want to put out in terms of the math around this. I heard, I can't think of who this idiot is, or a person that said an idiotic thing about gas prices. They're only up about 50 cents. Okay. So simple math, but sometimes we all just get caught up in doing our thing. 50 cents a gallon. Let's say you drive a vehicle that has a 20-gallon tank. So that means that your gas went up $10 every time you fill up. And let's just say, like this driver said, you are someone that drives a lot for whatever reason. You drive a lot because you commute. It's kind of how you are. You may not have access to public transportation readily. I mean, whatever the reason is. Or you just like to drive your car. You bought it because you wanted to enjoy it. I mean, that's fair. And you're driving a combustible engine vehicle or a hybrid, which still uses gas. But then let's say that you're in the trades or you're in a business where you have to drive. You drive a larger vehicle because it's part of your work. But let's keep it simple for some simple math. 20-gallon tank, 50 cents a gallon, that's $10 to fill up. And let's say you have to fill up twice a month. So that's $20 that's been added to your budget or taken from your budget, depending on how you look at it. And let's just say that you pay for lunches for your child for school. And those lunches cost, $3 a day. That's already $60 a month. So now you've just been forced to take a third of the money that you spend for lunches for your child. And because you got to get around, one has to happen. You got to drive your car and your child has to eat at school. That's one example. I could spend the next hour with others, but this is the one that came to my mind because of what I heard this idiot say in a hearing or in a conversation with someone. I forgot now, but in any event. And then to have people actually say you can feel it. So there you go. That's where we are now. That's 50 cents. And is it 2 weeks since the war started, y'all? Let's call it 2 weeks. That's 50 cents in 2 weeks. So this is one of those times where the phrase, the sky's the limit, is kind of frightening. Because what if it goes up 75 cents, then $1? So now that person has a $40 increase to their budget to get around and manage their lives. And their child still has a $60 monthly cost for lunches. And I don't mean, however you want to package that. It could be lunches that they pay for at school, or it could be lunches that's part of the budget that the parent allocates for the child's lunches for school. However you play it out. That's one scenario. That's personal, directly or indirectly to all of us. It could be formula for a newborn. Okay? You could be sending your child in school $60 a month. They're off in college and they've got scholarship and all that, but they need pocket money for whatever reason. It could be the $60 you're sending your child every month, or the 40 or the 50. So when I hear Republicans, I haven't heard any Democrats yet. Democrats, please don't slip up and let me find out that you said something stupid like this. I've only heard Republicans say it's not that bad. And it starts with Donald Trump. It's going to be, it's a little bit of pain. You aren't paying any pain, punk. None. You're sitting back fat. Let me stop on that one. I was about to say something that. Henry and Whitney are blushing here now because they knew I was about to. You're sitting back, acting like a swine and telling people that a little bit of pain is okay. Some of your Republican lapdogs are doing the same thing. That $60 means something to a lot of people. And you promised them that you were going to fix the concerns around affordability. And then you do something. If we set the tariffs aside for a second, this war is driving up one of the most universal things that we all use, or is used for things that we all benefit from, petroleum. And now we're seeing people already saying they can feel it. So when I've said this week, I've said it in the past, but more specifically this week, do not give anybody in your universe that is still supporting this administration, Donald Trump and this administration, do not give them any cover. Because if they're still supporting it, then what they're saying is, I would rather see a family, I would rather see a family have to pay more for their everyday things than to say, you know what, that family shouldn't have to do that. It's that simple. It's that cold that you need to be. They would, by still supporting this administration and twisting themselves into a pretzel, that person is saying, I would rather the cousin, the friend down the street, whomever, to feel pain rather than this guy to keep his promise. So anybody that you know in the entire GOP that's still supporting this guy, and you can't give them cover. I don't care if it's somebody in your family, if it's a coworker, they don't get cover anymore because they literally are saying, I'd rather somebody have to have some pain and they put at risk taking care of a child for school lunches or whatever, however, a baby formula for a young family. We can go down, we can build a whole, list of other things. They don't get cover anymore, guys. Part of what we have to do, part of our responsibility is to take action and not give them cover. Period. Full stop. And we have to stop having dumb A folks speaking for us in Congress, specifically the U.S. Senate. We have a clip that you guys know that the SAVE Act is on the table. And this clip, all I'm going to say is check this out, progressives.
So I don't understand how it could disenfranchise millions of Americans, and maybe he would explain.
I'm happy to. Thank you for that question, because I think all of us should be aware of the fact of what is required by this act when it comes to registering to vote. You have to present identification, correct? But your driver's license, which most people use in the course of business every single day, is not acceptable. What is acceptable is a passport. 50% of Americans do not have a passport. Those who want to obtain it so they can vote will pay $186 and wait 3 or 4 weeks for that to happen. Secondly, you can use a birth certificate. But any person who has changed their name as a result of a marriage or a hyphenated relationship has to find not only their birth certificate, but some correction of it to prove that they're eligible to register to vote. It's estimated that 9% of the voters in America do not have the identification required by this bill. It means ultimately that those people will not be voting. And I think that is the ultimate goal of this administration.
That was Dick Durbin responding to John Cornyn. So like I said, Jasmine Crockett did not win the primary. She quickly and boldly and confidently said, we got to get behind Tallarico and win this seat. And that's the reason why. John Cornyn he's so out of touch. He doesn't understand. See, this is where I get frustrated with any politician, any leader. If you don't understand, then ask somebody. You got this big A staff of people that we're paying for as a federal employee, and you don't have the ability to go, hey, Whitney, I'm a little stupid over here, but before I get out in public and make myself look really stupid in front of the cameras, hook a brother up and find out what the answer is to this. Talk to Henry. Henry, y'all need to figure out what this is so that I don't look stupid. and that and more importantly than me not looking stupid, that I present to the constituency the excellence and the strength that they elected me to bring. And so this is on Cornyn that he doesn't know. And maybe some of his staffers who said, we need to make sure he's prepared. Be that as it may, I'm tired of these dumb Republicans sitting up there. I don't understand how Lord help me, it's Friday the 13th. I ain't going to cuss, but boy. All right. Y'all can tell I'm a little fired up about some of this stuff this morning. We got more. On today's show, in the 6:30 hour, we'll be talking with Radiance Ward, who is running for judge, first Judicial Subcircuit of Cook County. She'll be with us in the 6:30 hour. She didn't know what she was in for when she just agreed to be on the show this morning, but we're going to have some fun. She's a great, great professional. Karen Byrne will be with us in 7 o'clock hour from 7 to 8. You guys can call in. Karen and I are going to be taking your calls. We're going to let you say whatever you need to say and get it off your chest, and we'll do our best to catch it and make you feel good about it. So just to let you know. So we're going to take a break right now. The number is 773-763-9278. You are listening to Choose Views on WCPT AM 820 in Chicago and WARR 1520 AM and 103.5 FM from Warren County, North Carolina. I'm Richard Chu. We'll be right back.
Are you paying too much for term life insurance? There's a tremendous price war among the major term life companies. Rates have dropped dramatically in the past 2 years. For example, a man age 45 non-tobacco user, $1 million of coverage is only $75 per month, level for the next 10 years. Or a man age 50 non-tobacco user can buy $500,000 of coverage for a monthly premium of only $110. Guaranteed not to change for the next 20 years. That's right, level rates for 20 years. And if you're a smoker, we have great rates for you as well. At the Term Lifeline, we specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. So if you're looking for new or replacement term life insurance, call right now for a free quote.
800-676-1090. 800-676-1090. 800-676-1090. That's 800-676-1090.
Rates and availability may vary by state. Sample rate quotes are based on preferred non-tobacco underwriting exam required to qualify.
Paid for by Airtime Media.
You may recognize his voice.
I'm Barack Obama.
And his.
I'm J.B. Pritzker.
Two Illinois leaders who both agree Juliana Stratton is a fighter for Illinois families.
Juliana Stratton has spent her career serving our community and protecting public safety. Juliana will fight to get guns off our streets.
And no one knows Stratton better than Governor J.B. Pritzker. As Lieutenant Governor, Stratton worked with Governor Pritzker to raise the minimum wage, deliver paid time off, get assault weapons off our streets, and defend abortion rights.
Illinois deserves a United States Senator who knows how to fight for us. A senator who will never cower when the moment calls for courage. I'm proud to endorse Juliana Stratton for United States Senate.
You heard them. Now it's time to vote and send Juliana Stratton to the U.S. Senate. Paid for by Illinois Future PAC. IllinoisFuturePAC.com. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. Illinois Future PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
WCPT 820, Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter.
Welcome back to Choose Views with Richard Chu.
All right, guys, welcome back to the show. 773-763-9278 is the number. Y'all need to fill up the lines today because we're going to take your calls as much as we can throughout the course of the show. Let's hit them with a couple of quick Choose Views news, guys, on this March 13th, 2026. Oil markets are facing historic disruptions from the Iran war. Iran pressed attacks across the Middle East and continued blockading the Straits of Hormuz yesterday as the International Energy Agency called the war the largest supply disruption in the history, y'all, of the global oil market. Brent crude topped $100 a barrel despite the IEA's decision to release 400 million barrels from the strategic reserves. They're hitting ships, and they're going to continue to do it. And my nephew, I'm going to give a shout out to my nephew, Mr. Gleese, who reminded me, he's like, Uncle Richard, I think that they're going to sit possum. Their full arsenal and what they have to launch, they're not there yet. They're not even close. Iran is not Venezuela. Live Nation execs bragged about robbing fans with fees. You guys heard about this Department of Justice settlement, but check this out. With dozens of states still hashing out their antitrust claims against Live Nation, Bloomberg reports that some executives at the event's giant had joked about robbing customers blind with ancillary fees. The internal messages dating from 2022. One regional ticket director wrote, "These people are so stupid." Wow. Make them testify. Make them pay. That's how you saw the customers? Then y'all need to pay. Weekly jobless claims did dip in a sign of market stability. Initial jobless claims in the U.S. dropped to 213,000 last week, slightly below the economists' expectations, indicating a stable labor market with fewer layoffs. From data that's come out this week. Continuing claims also fell, suggesting fewer Americans are facing prolonged unemployment. The encouraging numbers followed the February jobs report that was released last week, which showed that the economy unexpectedly shed 92,000 jobs amid a decrease in healthcare employment caused by extensive strikes. And then last but not least, Costco. Now, this is really interesting. Costco is facing a lawsuit to return tariff refunds to shoppers. A Costco member has filed a lawsuit demanding the retailer refund customers who paid higher prices because of tariffs that were recently declared illegal by the United States Supreme Court. Matthew Stockoff, a Costco member from Illinois, is seeking a class action status. Bloomberg reports that the consumers have filed at least 5 other similar suits seeking tariff refunds from companies including EssilorLuxottica and FedEx. Costco CEO Ron Bakeris recently promised the company would pass on any refunds through lower prices and better values. So, I'm curious. I'm going to pay attention to this one because it'd be interesting to see if this guy who's filing a lawsuit, I wonder where he sits socially and politically. But along with that, what I'm curious about is, will he put together a class or try to get class status on filing a lawsuit against the federal government? Because at the end of the day, the federal government is at the tip of the spear of these tariffs, not the companies. The companies can raise prices whenever they choose to. I mean, let's just be honest. Companies can increase their cost or they increase the prices that they charge us whenever they want to. And so it'll be interesting to see. I mean, obviously the Supreme Court said that the tariffs were illegal. They didn't say that the business's ability to raise profits or raise prices was illegal. So I'm going to do my best to follow this case because I'm curious where this guy sits politically and socially. Just kind of first thing that came to mind when I read this story. So there we go. Today on Live, Local, and Progressive, Joan Esposito will be taking your calls for the first half of the show and then talking to Chad Pierce, founder and president of IVC Media, LLC, a nonpartisan digital consulting firm, and a partner at the law firm of Peace and Shea, as well as Illinois Comptroller Susanna Mendoza. Live, Local, and Progressive weekdays 2 to 5 here on WCPT. Of course, heartlandsignal.com and tune in. Tonight on Driving It Home, Patty Vasquez will be talking to Illinois 9th Congressional District candidates Mike Simmons and Bushra Amawala. Jen Bennick, Lake County coroner and candidate for State Central Committee woman in the 10th Congressional District. And Stephanie Kiefowit, the Illinois State Representative and 2026 candidate for Illinois State Comptroller. Driving It Home with Patty Vasquez, weekdays 5 to 7 here on WCPT, AM 820, Heartland Signal website, TuneIn, YouTube, and Facebook. Tomorrow on It's the Democracy Stupid, Edwin Eisendrath will be joined by Tamara Jacoby, director of the New Ukraine Project at the Progressive Policy Institute. And we've had Tamara on before. She's phenomenal. Ahmad Baba will be with Edwin as well, independent journalist and political analyst and founder of the best-selling Substack publication Ahmed Baba News. Elizabeth Jacobs, professor emeritus and at in epidemiology and biostatistics and a founding member of the advocacy group Defend Public Health. Bobby Kogan, Senior Director of Federal Budget Policy at the Center for American Progress. There you go. Monday on Choose Views. We're taking your calls, talking to Mike Nellis and Amy McDonald. Amy McDonald is someone that you guys will be very encouraged to hear our segment with her. She's really got a powerful voice when it comes to conversations around race and diversity and public equity. So looking forward to chatting with Amy and as well as with Mike next week. Guys, I'm still a little fussy about the situation with the dumb Republicans. Cornyn not knowing how this act, this legislation in the SAVE Act will disenfranchise Americans. Not knowing that. How could you not know that? How could you not be aware? How could you then go public at a hearing? And kudos to Durbin for not jumping up and saying, dude, what the blank is wrong? How could you not know? And part of the reason that he doesn't know, in my opinion, and I'll make that very clear, is arrogance. In privilege. He doesn't think he needs to know. So why do I need to do the research? Why do I even need to let my staff know that if there's something that I got a blind spot, let me know? His arrogance, his privilege. That's ultimately, because he doesn't care, he doesn't give a damn. That's at the core of it. Let's just call it as it is. We have to, as progressive liberal Democrats, keep calling it as it is. It doesn't matter to him. And for the women that are going to be impacted by this, that voted for him in his last Senate run, y'all need to take a pause and say, wait a minute. He doesn't know that. He doesn't understand that. And he's voted for and he's behind this war. So my prices of things are going to go up and I can't vote it. Guys, we have to make these dotted line connections turn into solid lines. Okay? John Cornyn not knowing that is an embarrassment to him, to his team, and to the U.S. Senate. But that's how the Republicans roll. They don't really care. So if Tallarico is going to be our Democratic nominee, and he is, then we need to do everything we can to get behind him to make sure that he gets Cornyn out of that seat. Or if it's Cornyn or if it's Paxson. It might be Paxson. I'm sure Paxson probably... he may have a similar feeling about disenfranchisement of voters since he is the AG and he's one of the ones that was giving the nod when Trump called Greg Abbott and said, hey, Greggy, I need you to make sure that we get some additional seats down there. And so maybe some gerrymandering and redistricting would be a good idea. And he bent the knee. He probably did more than that, but I'm going to keep it clean. Good morning, Mike. Hey, what's going on there? I'm a little salty this morning, y'all, if you can't tell by now. I just, I hear these things from the Republicans, and I know that it's our responsibility to push our candidates forward and to strengthen our Democratic candidates, whether they be local, state, or federal. I know that's part of our job is to encourage them, to get behind them, to push them, to support them to do better. And at the same time, we have to call out these weak A Republicans. We just do. That's part of the deal as well. It's where I say we can walk and chew gum. We have to have people that we want to vote for. And at the same time, we have to talk about the people that got us here on the Republican side. They're not our colleagues. They're not. A colleague would know what the SAVE Act is going to do to an American citizen. So we have to call their bad behavior out. But right now, we're going to take a quick break. The number is 773-763-9278. You're listening to Choose Views on WCPT, AM 820 in Chicago, and WARR 1520 AM and 103.5 FM from Warren County, North Carolina. I'm Richard Chu, and when we come back, we will be talking with Radiance Ward, who is running for a judgeship here in the great county of Cook County. We'll be right back.
Robin Kelly grew up behind the register in her dad's grocery store. So she knows what it means when the same groceries cost more each week. Under Donald Trump, corporations get tax breaks, loopholes, and a green light to price gouge. Families get higher grocery bills, higher childcare costs, high healthcare premiums. It's Trump's economy. Corporate profits first, people last. In Congress, Robin Kelly's been fighting back. Robin took on insurance companies to lower drug costs. She wrote the law extending Medicaid for new moms to a full year because cutting care after 60 days was just wrong. And now Robin Kelly is running for Senate with a people over profits agenda. Medicare for all, so healthcare isn't a ripoff. Cap on childcare costs so families can work. And crack down on corporate price gouging so you're not punished at every turn. People over profits. Robin Kelly for U.S. Senate.
I'm Robin Kelly, Democrat running for U.S. Senate, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Robin Kelly for Senate.
This is WCPT telling you how you can shop blue. With the summer finally being here and everyone going on those vacations, let's look at some hotels that support the Democratic Party. Hyatt Hotels. Now, Hyatt Hotels is owned by the Pritzker family. Why does that Pritzker name sound so familiar? Oh, that's right, Governor J.B. Pritzker, governor of Illinois. It's safe to say that Hyatt Hotels supports the Democratic Party. Choice Hotels. Now, Choice Hotels donated $1.3 million to Democrats in 2024. And if you're wondering, Choice Hotels owns Quality Inn, Sleep Inn, Okono Lodge, and Roadway Inn. Wyndham Hotels. Now, Wyndham Hotels owns Super 8, Days Inn, Aquanita, Ramada, and more. Marriott. Marriott donated $228,000 to Democrats in 2024, and Hilton Hotels donated $241,000 to Democrats in 2024. This has been WCPT telling you how you can shop blue.
You're listening to WCPT 820. Here's the latest Chicago weather update.
From the Weatherology Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Laura Lockwood. A high wind warning continues until 4 p.m. this afternoon. Rain showers likely overnight, otherwise cloudy skies expected. Lows level off around 39. Southwest winds 20 to 25 miles per hour. Cloudy skies with a few peaks of sun. Friday, daytime highs approaching 48. Lows level off around 31. Friday night, mainly cloudy skies expected. And that's your latest Chicago weather update. Currently, it's 45 degrees.
This is WCPT 820, where facts matter.
Welcome back to Choose Views with Richard Chew.
Hey guys, welcome back to the show, and thanks for being with us. I talk about our leaders and our strong voices all the time. You know how I am about that. I want to make sure that we are speaking about that and bringing those folks to you. If you get I guess you could say, a plus from the Chicago Bar Association that says that you're pretty qualified, then you probably are fairly qualified, because the Chicago Bar Association is one of the leading bar associations in the country. It should be. We're the third largest city in America. With us this morning is an individual that is a graduate of Vanderbilt University, as well as has a Juris Doctor, also that's called a law degree, from Chicago's own Loyola University. I'm talking about Radiance Ward, who is running for a judgeship here in the great county of Cook. Good morning, Radiance, and welcome to Choose Views on WCPT.
Good morning. Good morning, Richard. Thank you for having me this morning.
Well, you're absolutely welcome. I'm glad we were able to kind of get you squeezed in. I know that we've got this primaries next week, and we've been doing our best on all of the shows to have on candidates that are running for local offices, that are running for statewide, and certainly running for national offices. And we're doing that, kind of all over the country. We're talking to people. So I'm glad we're able to have you on this morning. Welcome to the show. Tell us a little bit about your sort of ascent to where you are now, and what brought you to the point to say, you know what, I think it's time for me to throw my hat in the ring in terms of working toward becoming a judge.
Yeah, you're right. So I did go to Vanderbilt University, but before that, I'm a product of Chicago Public Schools. I went to Kenwood Academy in Hyde Park, and then went to Vanderbilt on scholarship. I then went to Loyola University Chicago, also on scholarship. I'm a first-generation attorney. my entire career has been in public service. I've never worked at a firm. So after I left Loyola, or actually my third year at Loyola, I clerked at the public defender's office as an intern, and I fell in love with the work. So I decided then that I wanted to do public interest work. There was that good old hiring freeze during the recession of 2007. So I wasn't able to go straight into the public defender's office, but I worked at a nonprofit, and then I transitioned into government, and I've been doing government work since 2012. Right now, I am an assistant public defender in the Homicide Task Force Division. So I do the most complex of cases that we have in the state of Illinois. And there was a second vacancy in the first Judicial Subcircuit. And so I decided at this point to run for judge.
That's a great story, and shout out to Chicago. I love how you backed the train up a little bit and said, okay, let me let folks know I'm a Chicagoan, and that's so cool because Mayor Johnson said something a few weeks ago, whatever it was, but recently he said we in Chicago. It was at the around the conversation of the intensity of ICE being here, and he said we're built differently here in Chicago, and we are. And so kudos to you for reminding us of being, as some people would say, a homegirl, one from the city of Chicago.
Indeed.
Radiance, let me come back to something that you just said about being a public defender. One of the questions that I think judges get asked often is what their legal decisions in terms of career choices, how they impact them then becoming a judge. So as a public defender, you've seen our justice system operate from one side, if you will, of the justice system coin. Talk about that, but then also talk about how that's going to impact you, at least your thoughts, when you become a judge.
So you're correct. Being a public defender means I've been in court every day. I have stood next to people during some of their worst moments when they're going through crisis. And so I've seen how much a fair judge can impact someone's daily life. But before I was a public defender, I was worked at a nonprofit representing survivors of domestic violence in civil family law matters. So I've seen it on both sides. I've seen how the courts just a fair judge can either make or break a case. And so I think it's important when you are evaluating your judges to look for someone who has been in court, who knows the rules of evidence, who knows how a judicial temperament can impact or influence a case. And I think that those are things that you should look at. I think it's important to note that judges on the campaign trail, we're in a unique position. We cannot necessarily speak to the issues. Mm-hmm. I often get asked, like, how would I rule in a certain situation? And the rules of judicial ethics prohibit us from doing that, but also you don't know if you don't know the evidence. And so the best way, I think, one of the best ways to look at how someone will be as a judge is to look at what they've done in the past. And being a career public servant, a career public defender, for the most part, I think it shows that one thing is I'm committed to the place that has poured so much into me, and that's being Chicago.
Yeah, we have a uniqueness about us when it comes to how we just love our city and how we fight for our city. And that's one of the things that you have done and obviously will be able to go forward with. So let's talk about that question that, I think goes through anyone's mind when they're going to take on a new role. And that we all talk about what we do well and what we think we bring to the situation and we're going to be able to do to benefit the situation or the new role. But what would be the things that you would say that, not that they are negatives, because I don't speak to the negatives, but what are the things that you go, I wish I had or I could have done that would make me even better in this role that I'm looking to step into? Does that make sense?
That does. That is a really good question. I think that the not knowing of what it's like to be a judge. I've never been a judge. I'm also a professor of law. I coach mock trial, so I've played a judge as I'm coaching my students, but I've never been a judge. And I think that one of the things that's important to do is to have those conversations with judges who are actually doing the work, so you can have a better idea. As I am. About a little over a year ago, I started this campaign trail and I had no idea what I was getting into. I do have judicial mentors, but I think having those conversations beforehand with those judicial mentors who can kind of let you know, this might be the best way to navigate this situation. These are some things you might want to do also in your career so that you can have a better idea of what you might be getting into. I do think, and maybe it's a shameless plug, but I do think public defenders and any attorney that's been in court every day, I think are the best suited to make those trial decisions in the courtroom, because that's what a trial court judge is doing, is making those real-time decisions, deciding on those rules of evidence, determining, what comes in. And so I think that attorneys that are in court on a daily basis are the best suited to do it. But there's that outside part that we don't see, that behind the scenes part. So I think having a relationship, making sure you find your judicial mentors and having those real conversations with them, that might have been something that I should have taken advantage of.
Self-evaluation, self-awareness is so important. And I don't care if you're a scientist, a biologist, or a social worker, or everybody in between. So it's one of our best tools to be able to improve diagnosis, of who we are, so that we can then figure out how we can make ourselves better in the thing that we're doing. So thank you for that. Let me ask you another question about that, though. If you were to go, Radiance, in your Wayback Machine, and let's go back to school, law school specifically. Okay. If you were to go back to in that Wayback Machine and say, okay, classes that I took or experiences that I had during my educational years to become a lawyer, what are some of the things that you can reach back on and say, oh, okay, this is going to be something I'll be able to use in the role as a judge? Do you know what I'm asking?
So I think in law school, one of the best things that I did was, it was twofold. It was the mock trial program, being on the mock trial program. And I say this, Loyola was very good at connecting you with resources and with people who are in the legal career in Chicago. That's one of the reasons I wanted to come back to Chicago for law school, was because I knew I wanted to practice here. So I went away to Nashville for undergrad, but I was like, no, I'm coming home, because I wanted to make those connections. And so being in that mock trial program, the Core Boy Fellowship program at Loyola, connected me with trial attorneys, and not just criminal defense, but civil trial attorneys, people who work at firms throughout Chicago. And I was able to make those connections. What do we say in Chicago? It's not what you know, it's who you know. And so I think networking, so Loyola was so good at putting me in those spaces where I was able to make those connections. And that led me to the internship that I spoke about earlier, the public defender's office. And my coach from my trial was actually the one who got me into the public defender's office as a law clerk. And that just, skyrocketed my career to where it is now, which, again, like I said, trial attorneys make the best judges, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, and the cool thing about that is, you can piece things together, and you go, okay, this helped, and then get to a point where you can go, now I can pull all those together. It's the old phrase, you can make a great meal with leftovers. My mother used to say that to me all the time. So I'll pull a little bit here, a little bit there, and when I finally get to pull that all together, then I've got that mass to go forward and be successful in the work that I do. So kudos to you for recognizing that. You're listening to Choose Views on WCPT, AM 820 in Chicago, and WARR 1520 AM and 103.5 FM from Warren County, North Carolina. I'm Richard Chu, and we're talking with candidate for Judge Radiance Ward here in Cook County. So, all right, you're in the seat now. Let's fast forward. You're there, and you got the robe, and it's got the nice creases and pleats in it, and you're looking good. and that first day, that first trial that you sit in the chamber, and now you're moving out, and you got a all rise moment. What's that going to be like for you?
I definitely think it'll be a full circle moment. Slightly, I don't know, overwhelming. Maybe I think that I fully feel prepared for this, but I think it's one of those things when you're in the trenches working for it, you don't. At least I haven't imagined that moment quite yet. It's in this moment. No one prepared me for what running for office was like. I don't come from a family of politicians or anything. So every day is like, let's get through this day. But I think in that moment, I always say I stand on the shoulders of giants. So I think of I feel I'll be thinking of my mom and my grandmothers, just furthering our family's legacy in that way. And making sure I get those rulings right, because no judge wants to be reversed, right? No judge wants to be reversed.
Well, not obviously for your own efficacy, but also for the people that are in your court that you want to get it right for. And I know that's what you've been able to do in your career. Word to the wise: see yourself in that role. See yourself walking through that door with that first trial. I'm a big believer in there, seeing it as it will be. So it's okay. Your ego stays in check if you imagine yourself being there. There's nothing wrong with that. So
noted.
I feel comfortable enough to say that to you. So all right, our justice system has got some issues, Radiance. We all know it. So let's talk about what the justice system could be doing a better job. I know this is a big question, and I got an even bigger one for you. It's not a gotcha question, but it's just a bigger question. What do you think our justice system, and let's speak here in Cook County, let's just use that to keep it inside the fairway, could be doing to be better for all citizens?
Well, I think that in criminal court especially, there is this historic distrust of the courts. I think that for certain communities, Black, brown, impoverished communities, they don't feel like the justice system works for them. And to be honest, it hasn't throughout the course of our history. So I think there needs to be consistency. I think that judges, prosecutors who have more power in many instances than judges in courts, there needs to be consistency. People need to feel like when they come into a courtroom that they're going to be treated the same, considered as a human, the same as someone as the haves, of the people who have money, as the people who have power. So I think we need to do better with that. I think we also need to do better with enabling and empowering self-represented litigants. You see so many people who come in, we know people have the right to representation in criminal court, but in civil court, there's a huge part of the court system, which is civil. And so people are coming in for divorces, who've been in car accidents, who can't afford attorneys, and they have to navigate that court system by themselves, and they're at a disadvantage. And so I think we have to do a better job of making sure that self-represented litigants have support. People who don't speak English as their first language have support. In Cook County, we do have a fairly comprehensive Spanish interpreter program, somewhat with Polish, but the rest of the languages, people are coming in, navigating that system. I can't imagine being in another country. I took French for 20 years. I can't imagine being in France, getting arrested, and having to navigate that court system without the support of an interpreter. So I think that there are a number of just barriers to justice that litigants experience in Cook County that could be worked on.
Yeah, and what I like about how you view this is that it's focused on how to better things for people who have to be in the system. We all at some point could be in court. It doesn't. And I love the way you kind of give the bandwidth of what can happen when you have to go to court. And if you don't have the support, whether you are English as your first language or not, that's a big one now as we talk about immigration and how we gotta do a better job in protecting people that are part of the immigration system. And I think that your take on that is really it's really profound and certainly one that's measured. So the bigger question, or the next big justice system question is, give us your observations about SCOTUS, and to the extent that you can, respectfully, and where you see we've either gone astray or we can do better. Because you, as a judge, are part of that system. You could be a Supreme Court justice in 10 years, depending on how things were to play out. So talk to us about your observations of our U.S. Supreme Court.
So I think that one thing that I've noticed, I think that we've seen as a country, is that the courts have been the ones to try to attempt to keep us from completely going off the rails. I don't know how successful they've been or how successful they can be, considering I think that the more progressive and more liberal justices are in the minority. And so one thing I've noticed is I thought, Chief Justice Roberts was years ago was as, conservative as it can get, and to see him now me looking at him as more of the moderate is an interesting turn of events. But I think that they're the ones that are trying to keep this administration in check. I think that's why we have the separation of powers in the government. I think some of the lower courts in the federal system are able to do more because we have those judges that were appointed under different administrations who are making those bold decisions. But I kind of feel like the Supreme Court's hands are tied in a lot of situations just because of the numbers.
Yeah, that's an interesting. Do you as you look at the work that you're going to be doing and you think about people that will follow you? You spoke earlier about those whose shoulders that you stand on and we all stand on. What are some of the things that you want to see when it comes to our youth that might be interested in becoming an attorney or certainly being part of the justice system in a way that's going to be, fruitful for their careers and the people that they may ultimately serve?
I think exposure and presence is everything. And I believe it's very hard to be what you can't see. And so I would love for our youth to see judges that look like them, that come from the same places that they come from, that share their beliefs and views. My mother growing up always told me, everybody your color ain't your kind. So just because someone, looks like you doesn't necessarily mean that they share the same beliefs and views as you. But I think that presence, knowing a judge, my very first time going into the booth, my mom had a friend who was a judge when I was young, and my mother at 5 pulled me into the voting booth and had me press his name. And I think that might have lit a little flicker in my brain about, I can also do this. And so I want our youth to know that you can be from the South Side of Chicago, you can go to Chicago public schools, you can be the child of a single parent, you can be all of that and still become a judge, still be an attorney if that's what you want to be, still practice law. And so I think judges have to be present in those spaces where the children are, where the youth are, and share what they do.
Yeah, and that's such a great point about representation, and I think that's so true in any area of our lives, and that's why I'm going to circle back to something I said a moment ago. You can't be it if you can't see it. So, got to see yourself in that robe, walking through out of the chambers into that first courtroom case. So, Radiance, we wish you all the success that you deserve. You've earned it. You've worked your tail off, and you've been one of those voices that just keeps on fighting. And I'm so proud that we were able to have you on today. And we wish you all the luck that you deserve with next week.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Radiance Ward, y'all, running for Cook County Judge. We got to be excited for her because she's doing what so many other people can't do or won't do. Radiance, thank you for being with us. And one last thing before we go, I don't want to forget this. How can people find you, follow you, get involved, however they might be able to in these last few days?
Yes, absolutely. So we have the social medias, Radiance Ward for Judge on Instagram and Facebook. The website is Radiance Ward for Judge. Spread the news. I'm running in the first Subcircuit, which is the southeast side of Chicago. So if you live on the southeast side, you will probably see me on your ballot. And just spread, Radiance Ward for Judge. It's down ballot. So you got to pay attention to those down ballot vacancies.
Absolutely. Radiance, thanks for being with us and much success next week.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
All right. Have a good weekend. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Wow. There you go, guys. We got another voice that's out there that's fighting, and she's doing the work, so we got to be proud of her. She's a Chicago native, and she's doing the work. I mean, it's pretty cool stuff. We are not quite ready for a break, and so we'll sit tight for a moment. I know this is one of the things I wanted to mention about with her running. This just goes to show how, 1 or 2 degrees of separation is so important, or so can be so amazing. I didn't even know she was running. She is a patient of my doctor, just to be fully transparent. And he reached out to me. He said, "Richard, I really would love it if you could have Radiance on the show." And I said, "All right, let's make it happen." So we probably potentially passed each other in the doctor's office unknowingly in the years that I've been seeing this doctor for almost 20 years. And so here you go. Isn't that crazy how, and who was it we've all been talking about this in terms of networking and connecting with people. She even talked about it. One leads to the next, to the next, to the next, and here you go. So Much success to her in this running, and it sounds like she understands what the role is going to require of her. And one of the things that she seems to understand is being humble about the people that she would be, making a decision on. So that's kind of cool to see. We'll take a break, guys. When we come back in the 7 o'clock hour, man, oh man, it's going to be a lot of fun because guess who's going to be hanging with us? You're listening to Choose Views on WCPT AM 820 in Chicago and WARR 1520 AM and 103.5 FM from Warren County, North Carolina. I'm Richard Chu. We'll be right back.
Election night is almost here. Join us for the WCPT Election Night Special on Tuesday, March 17th from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. hosted by Joan Esposito, Richard Chu, and me, Patty Vasquez.
Election Day coverage will start with Joan Esposito live, local and progressive from 2 to 5, and Driving It Home with Patty Vasquez from 5 to 7.
WCPT will have reporters all over Chicagoland with updates from state and local candidates' election headquarters.
The WCPT Election Day coverage and the WCPT Election Night Special are sponsored by Fazio Insurance,
an independent insurance agency serving residents and businesses in Will and DuPage counties since 1953.
For more information, contact Paul Fazio at 815-727-2611 or at fazioins.com.
Remember to join WCPT Radio on Tuesday, March 17th to get the latest primary election news.
See you on the radio at 8:20 a.m. and WCPT820.com.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Billy, your gas light's on. We need to stop and fill up.
No way, Jen. Gas around here is too expensive. We can make it a little further.
Billy, listen to your big sister. You don't need to drive all over searching for the lowest gas prices. Do what I do and use Upside.
Upside?
Do you live under a rock, Billy? Upside is the hottest cashback app out there. It's free to download, and you get real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy. I use it all the time, and I've already made around $200.
You can make that kind of cash back just for buying the gas you have to buy anyway?
Yes, I'm looking at the Upside app now, and there's a gas station at the next exit offering 25 cents per gallon cash back.
Okay, I'm stopping to download Upside and fill up my tank. Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code GRAVY25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code GRAVY25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code GRAVY25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
You may recognize his voice.
I'm Barack Obama.
And his.
I'm J.B. Pritzker.
Two Illinois leaders who both agree Juliana Stratton is a fighter for Illinois families.
Juliana Stratton has spent her career serving our community and protecting public safety. Juliana will fight to get guns off our streets.
And no one knows Stratton better than Governor J.B. Pritzker. As Lieutenant Governor, Stratton worked with Governor Pritzker to raise the minimum wage, deliver paid time off, get assault weapons off our streets, and defend abortion rights.
Illinois deserves a United States Senator who knows how to fight for us. A senator who will never cower when the moment calls for courage. I'm proud to endorse Juliana Stratton for United States Senate.
You heard them. Now it's time to vote and send Juliana Stratton to the U.S. Senate. Paid for by Illinois Future PAC. IllinoisFuturePAC.com. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. Illinois Future PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Amazon Business empowers leaders with smart business buying tools, leaving time to focus on strategy and growth. Free up your teams and focus on your future at AmazonBusiness.com.
AP News, I'm Haya Punjwani. The U.S. military says a KC-135 refueling aircraft supporting operations against Iran crashed in western Iraq, killing 4 of its 6 crew members. AP's Ben Thomas.
Though part of the operation against Iran, the military says the crash was not due to hostile or friendly fire. Central Command says the incident involved 2 aircraft, with the other landing safely. Another U.S. official tells AP that aircraft was also a tanker plane.
A man with a rifle who crashed into a large Michigan synagogue in what federal officials are saying was an attack had lost 4 family members in an Israeli strike in his native Lebanon last week. At a news conference, FBI Special Agent in charge Jennifer Runyon says this is a deeply disturbing and tragic incident.
The FBI is here working with our state, local, and federal partners to investigate this incident
and I can confirm that we are leading the investigation right now as a targeted act of violence against the Jewish community.
A young hockey player who lost his family in a Rhode Island shooting has scored a winning tournament goal. Correspondent Gethin Coolbaugh.
Nearly a month after losing 3 family members in a Rhode Island ice rink shooting, Colin Dorgan scored a game-winning goal in double overtime that helped advance the Blackstone Valley Co-op out of the semifinals. Colin Dorgan was on the ice with his teammates when his mother and brother were killed in a targeted attack during a February 16th hockey game in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. His grandfather also later died. Police have identified the shooter as Robert Dorgan, who died from an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound. Since the shooting, Blackstone Valley players have hearts stitched on the front of their jerseys with the initials of all 3 who died. I'm Gethin Coolbaugh.
World shares retreated while oil prices again popped above $100 per barrel. This is AP News. AP Washington correspondent Sagar Meghani reports on the Pentagon saying it will reassess efforts to protect civilians from harm.
That comes after the AP reported outdated intelligence likely led to a U.S. military strike on an Iranian elementary school, killing more than 165. General Alexis Grinkowicz, the top U.S. and NATO commander in Europe, tells the Senate panel the military takes reducing civilian harm seriously.
I can assure you that we have robust standards that we go through.
But Senator Kirsten Gillibrand says the Trump administration has slashed a center vital to protecting civilians.
Their mission was to help you and to help protect against civilian casualties.
The Pentagon says a reorganization's underway, and it has streamlined some functions aimed at reducing those casualties. Sagar Meghani at the White House.
I'm Haya Pinjwani, AP News.
This is 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and streaming worldwide at WCPT820.com. We are Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter. Now, your WCPT 820 weather update.
From the Weatherology Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Laura Lockwood. A high wind warning continues until 4 p.m. this afternoon. Rain showers likely overnight, otherwise cloudy skies expected. Lows level off around 39. Southwest winds 20 to 25 miles per hour. Cloudy skies with a few peaks of sun. Friday, daytime highs approaching 48. Lows level off around 31. Friday night, mainly cloudy skies expected. And that's your latest Chicago weather update. Currently, it's 45 degrees.
Hi, I'm Pat Hines, candidate for Cook County Assessor. Cook County families deserve stability, not confusion and surprises. After 8 years of promised reform, taxpayers are still facing late bills, sudden tax spikes, and ongoing uncertainty. The Chicago Tribune uncovered hundreds of millions of dollars in property missing from the tax rolls, shifting the burden onto you. When assessments are wrong, families pay more than their fair share. It's time for accuracy. It's time for accountability.
Paid for by Hines for Assessor. You're listening to WCPT 820.
Richard Chu's got his eye.
Matter.
Richard Chu's got his eyes on the truth. And you're right where you need to be. This is Chu's Views.
Yeah, we made it back, guys. Great to have Radiance Ward on with us this morning. Don't forget, we're on Facebook, and we're reading your comments. So please leave your thoughts so we can check them out, as well as like and share the page with people that you want to spread the word. Find us at facebook.com/WCPT820. Candidate interviews. Obviously, we've had a number of candidates on, and the election's just, 4 days away now. WCPT is posting all of our candidate interviews at heartlandsignal.com/candidates. That includes candidates from the hotly contested U.S. Senate campaign, the open congressional races in the 2nd, 4th, 7th, 8th, and 9th districts in Illinois. Comptroller race, state house, state senate races, and more. It's all out there. And guys, we are leading the pack. Illinois is, when it comes to the races that we've got right now. We've got this great bench of people. So it's an exciting time right now for all of us. And I'm grateful that we've been able to have folks on, not only my show, but the other shows with Patty, with Joan, and with Patty, and with Edwin. So there you go. Are we here or are we here? There. Okay. So where are we? We are in the studio. And also, okay, yeah, see, these guys are redirecting me. And why am I asking where are we? Just because I like looking at our guests when we have guests in studio. And this morning, we have our good friend Karen Byrne from TruBlu Politics Podcast in the house.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I'm a little salty this morning.
I heard.
And I've got even more salt to drop on people in terms of stuff that we have to pay attention to. But Karen has an interesting take. And welcome, Karen, to the show, first and foremost. Thanks for being with us this morning.
Thanks for having me in again.
Always.
You keep letting me in.
Why not?
Okay.
You haven't torn anything up, so why would I not let you in? See, when people come to your wherever, your place of work or your house, or
I'm pretty respectful,
and they tear stuff up, then you can't let them
bump
back.
Into walls.
But they bump into walls. Oh, Lordy. But you heard me being salty. That's an inside joke, and we're going to keep it inside, no matter how desperately you all want us to tell you what that was all about. All right. Earlier in the broadcast, I was talking about John Cornyn. Karen has an interesting take on it, and it matches up with one of our listeners down in South Carolina. I think this is this Ressa? No, this is someone from here in the area that says that they agree with what you were saying before we came on the air. So share with folks what you think about the situation with
John Cornyn is no dummy. Okay, he knows better. He throws out the okey doke because he knows that the rubes that vote for him rely on that okey doke.
Right.
That is the Republican Party. That is the whole MO of the Republican Party. All they've ever had to do in order to get people's votes so that they can give huge tax breaks to millionaires, billionaires, and multi-corporations is throw out racist red meat.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah,
it's simple as that.
It's in your observation, it's less about him not knowing.
He knows.
And more about...
They count on it. They can't win elections if they don't do that. They've been doing up to this for how long, Richard? You and I.
Long time.
A long time we've been watching this. I mean, if you go back to cross-check, I mean, they've been, they have actively been doing this, just, stacking the courts with judges, too. That's a part of the game plan as well. They know that they do not have a platform of good ideas. And so they have got to stack everything in their favor. And the only way that they get to win elections is by gerrymandering, redistricting, mid-census term, right?
Yep.
And suppressing votes of people of color, women. Now they're women.
But that's the thing about the SAVE Act that's so just insidious, egregious. Even better word is. Why would the system's not broken when it comes to voting?
No, it isn't.
Like anything,
they manufacture problems.
Go ahead.
No, they manufacture it. There's no, they break. First of all, they break things. Then they talk about how they're broken, so that they can get the rubes and throw out enough red meat to the racist base to get their votes to help them do the bidding of, like I said,
because they're weak.
People up here, because they're weak.
They're weak. I got an article I'm going to talk about in a second, but before I do that, I had an opportunity. I've connected with someone that I know that you're aware of, who writes some really great articles on Substack, and that's the snarky correspondent.
I love her.
Also known as Jody.
So
Jody's sitting in the waiting room this morning. Jody, are you there? Good morning.
I am. Good morning, you guys.
Hi,
Karen. Karen's my favorite redhead.
Hello, sweetie pie.
So,
Hi.
See, I like to do that to people. I like the little surprise things. Jody, all right, so you guys, you got to check her out on Substack. I've said this before. The Snarky Correspondent. I love that title. Is the title of her Substack. But here's one of the recent posts. What exactly is the SAVE Act actually saving? And, Jody, you put together a really good, you got a little background noise there, so just be mindful of that. You put together a really good piece, and it kind of lines up with what we're talking about with John Cornyn and the rest of the GOP just wanting to play in a way that furthers their agenda, but not really is better for or best for all Americans.
No, for sure. I feel like, as I've told you before, I'm just a person with opinions and a very big mouth and a lot of swearing, as you and I know. But it's just so just incredibly frustrating because all of the facts, I feel, and I know I'm preaching to the choir with you guys, which is why I love you both so much. It's just the fact that the facts are right in everybody's face, and are they just willfully ignoring it? Are they just...
They're just evil.
Ignorant? Right. I mean, it's just very confusing because I've got a giant chunk of my family who, they don't even talk to me anymore because I'm like, well, what about this? Well, but this already exists. Okay, but that's not going to work. But they don't want to sit there and have that conversation with me, and it's just so frustrating, and I feel like that's part of why we are just so divisive these days because they just don't even want to... All they bring up are ridiculous talking points like you guys have been saying.
One of the things that I think has to happen, though, has to continue to happen, is that we do have to force them to have the conversations or recognize that we're not losing something, they're losing something by not being connected and staying connected with us and being willing to learn.
And it's rough. It's rough when you're dealing with just friends and, Facebook friends and people online. But then when you have it in your own family. And I mean, I'm blessed enough to have, progressives in my family. So we don't, have too many, contentious conversations about politics. And, but yeah, I mean, I feel for people, like you, Jody, that have people that you have to have these daily conversations, and it's hard to ignore the elephant in the room, Oh,
it's just absolutely frustrating because I feel like, and this is crazy, before Trump and all this other stuff, and I just feel like he was, the catalyst, he pressed that button and everybody's like, yeah, I can be a racist misogynist. Mm-hmm. But my family and I, we used to have, or at least a really good cousin of mine, close our entire lives, we used to have conversations. Like I always joke, and even though he's not that much older than me, he was a pre-Reagan Republican when they actually, for the most part, made sense. But we could have these brilliant conversations just about pretty much everything. We might have different sides of the coin, but there was this really incredible intellectual discourse that would happen that I can't seem to get with anybody on the other side. And that makes me sad because, quite frankly, I'd like to learn why they're thinking this way, but I can't seem to get that information. I don't know if you guys have been successful, but I'm having a very hard time.
Well, they want nothing that they'll come out and, admit to,
right. Yeah, how did they get that way?
Right.
Well, one of the things that I'm not cynical, I'm just a little bit more probably hardcore about this, is that I want to help people cross the bridge back. But Rich Logis, who is the founder of Leaving MAGA, I want to help people cross the bridge back and be able to say, all right, we want to bring them back in the fold. As Karen says, there's some that are gettable. Mm-hmm. But I'm not wasting much time on that. I give them kind of one shot. If they don't, at this point, Jody, with all of the tools that we all have to access information, if they don't take advantage of those tools to learn and to really understand that what's happening right now is completely craziness, and we are in crazy town. And like I said earlier, if they're going to continue to support a guy and an administration and all of his, feckless followers, then I can't waste time on them. I have to move on to the more fertile, more gettable people, or the people that may have stayed out of the fight.
And I think those people truly are the gettable people, the independents and the people that just didn't, that just stayed home. If you're leaving MAGA and you want to, have an earnest conversation and you come to me and, I'm not going to solicit it. It's like you figure
somebody
your
else
stuff
can
out.
Solicit, right.
Y'all can figure that out. Like all of the people that are waking up or whatever, you guys figure it out, And if you need my help in trying to understand where you went wrong, okay, that's fine. But I'm not going to waste my time having deep conversations with them, debating the issues or whatever. To me, it is as clear as this. Donald Trump came down that escalator calling Mexicans rapists and criminals, okay? Flat out. And that was on the heels of him trolling President Obama for 8 years. Mm-hmm. With a lot of the birtherism, the racism, and all of it. We've all seen this, Jody, you and I, Henry. We've been in those rooms where the racism is flying pretty freely. Okay.
Yep.
And so we recognize this for what it is.
Yeah.
And so for me personally, you heard him say that. You heard him that he can grab women by the P word.
Yep.
On and on and on. What did you not understand?
Yeah, I still voted for him. All right, guys, we got to take a quick break. Jody, thanks for calling in this morning. We'll do this again sometimes, but stay safe.
Please.
And I will keep referencing your articles because they are really, really strong and well written. Thanks, Jody, for hanging out for a minute.
You're my biggest fan. No, thanks, guys. Love you.
No,
Bye.
I love you.
773-763-9278 is the number. You're listening to Choose Views on WCPT AM 820 in Chicago and WARR 1520 AM and 103.5 FM from Warren County, North Carolina. I'm Richard Chu. We'll be right back.
WCPT replay.
I worked all day updating my office on what's going on with ICE agents. These are animals. There's video of them tasing a man who was already zip tied in a vehicle, and they tased him because what? They didn't like the way he was behaving, or he was already zip tied. Not to mention a 1-year-old who was exposed to tear gas as her parents were running errands, as they were also, by the way, chasing down an 11-year-old girl. I'm not going to say I'm sorry for calling them animals who won't even share their badge numbers, their names, or their faces with us. Spare me for their protection, as though there aren't judges, police officers, FBI, all the different areas of law enforcement and our justice system who do put themselves on the line. We've had judges whose families have been killed in their homes. So you're telling me that an ICE agent is feeling are they feeling vulnerable?
Keep listening to WCPT 820 because facts matter.
You may recognize his voice.
I'm Barack Obama.
And his.
I'm J.B. Pritzker.
Two Illinois leaders who both agree Juliana Stratton is a fighter for Illinois families.
Juliana Stratton has spent her career serving our community and protecting public safety. Juliana will fight to get guns off our streets.
And no one knows Stratton better than Governor J.B. Pritzker. As Lieutenant Governor, Stratton worked with Governor Pritzker to raise the minimum wage, deliver paid time off, get assault weapons off our streets, and defend abortion rights.
Illinois deserves a United States Senator who knows how to fight for us. A senator who will never cower when the moment calls for courage. I'm proud to endorse Juliana Stratton for United States Senate.
You heard them. Now it's time to vote and send Juliana Stratton to the U.S. Senate. Paid for by Illinois Future PAC. IllinoisFuturePAC.com. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. Illinois Future PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Alexa, play WCPT.
WCPT from TuneIn.
This is Choose Views with Richard Chu.
All right, guys, we are back. Thanks to Jody for giving us a quick holler. She writes some great stuff on Substack. It's called The Snarky Correspondent. Welcome to the Shark Nation. I love it. All right, Karen.
Yes, sir.
We're going to grab some calls as they come in today, so we'll make sure we'll get people on. But there's a couple other things that I wanted to throw your way.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. In this conversation about the big wigs and the corporate powers and the moneyed up people doing what they do, there is an article that is in, let me make sure I get this right because I want to send people to the right location so you can read it yourself. There is an article that I want you guys to check out, and it's in the New Republic. And the article is on and about Alex Karp, who is the CEO of Palantir, the company that
Peter Thiel
started.
Mm-hmm.
Palantir CEO Alex Karp said the quiet part out loud, and that is he admitted the tech is dangerous in terms of AI and other forms of technology.
Well,
and I'm just going to read you guys
confirming.
some quotes. I'm going to read some quotes, but I want you guys to go to the New Republic and check this article out. Karp's own words that these technologies are dangerous societally. He justifies it by saying, but we don't want our adversaries to get to use them before we do. Here are some of the pieces. He says that this will disrupt humanity's trained, largely Democratic voters, women who have been empowered by education, economic power. We want to make their economic power less, while boosting the power of working class male voters. This is a quote. This is a quote, y'all.
That goes for you, white ladies down south.
Or in the northern suburbs, or in the western suburbs, or outside of Philly, or outside of Boston, or outside of Houston. They're coming for y'all. Mm-hmm. Listen, as a black person in this country, we've always been the target. I'm not talking about having a pity party here.
No, you're speaking truth.
Other people have called it. Our Hispanic, Latino, Asian, Middle Eastern brothers and sisters have always been targets. But what's happened, and Karen can speak to this better than I, is that it's clear that a lot of these white Christian male guys, so-called white, and Karen's giving air quotes, white Christian male guys, want to eliminate women from the process. That's why I had the clip about Cornyn and the SAVE Act, and this quote from Alex Karp. Y'all need to read this article in the New Republic. Mm-mm. This is about taking the strength out of women voting in America. Mm-hmm. And it's coming from a white dude.
Yep.
So black folks been saying this for decades as it relates to civil rights. Mm-hmm. They're coming for all of us. It's just a question of where we are on the list. Mm-hmm. They want to use technology to reduce the power of educated white women in America.
Yep.
Talk to us, Karen.
We tried to tell you.
No, we didn't try. We didn't try. We told them.
We did. I mean,
we did
Project
try.
2025.
We told them.
We told them. We've been talking about it for a year and a half, 2 years now.
Yep.
At the DNC,
candidly,
were
you and I were two of the first voices, if not the only two, but two of the early voices.
Yes, we were
across the spectrum.
Yeah.
That were talking about this back in the spring of 2024, in the late winter, early spring.
Right.
Shortly after this show started, we were like, we need to dig into this.
We need to talk about this.
Because every Friday we talked about Project 2025, right. And then Taraji P. Henson at the award show spent a minute and a half going on about y'all need to pay attention. This is one of their primary targets, y'all.
Absolutely.
Is to take away the economic power of white women in America by eliminating their ability to vote.
Right.
And technology is one of the tools. And Alex Karp said the real part out loud, the quiet part out loud.
He said it. And, the thing of it is, and I'll keep going back to this, the fact that there were these ballot initiatives, because even before this all happened, we had women who had their autonomy, their reproductive rights taken away from them. Down south, there were already all these reports of women, having to flee their states in order to get emergency health care.
Hell, it was happening in Ohio.
Ohio, exactly. And, unfortunately, there were these ballot initiatives in 2024, not to make any kind of excuses for anybody.
Right.
But whoever thought that those ballot initiatives were a good idea to put on there, that white women could vote for the ballot initiative that reinstated Roe in their state, but then go and vote for Donald Trump and Republicans, whoever's idea, I just want to have a word, because, that is exactly why.
Because it was all about them. They wanted to protect their privilege
and
proximity to the patriarchy.
Yeah, and there's a video that was out there. This white woman, she had to go and get emergency health care. She goes to the hospital. They tell her to go ahead and go home and Google it. She's miscarrying. White woman. But I'm a good, outstanding citizen. I'm, upstanding citizen. I mean, and they're telling me, so it's to your point, that it's just as long as it's not me, I'm not gonna worry about it. But now it's starting to roost.
The quiet part out loud.
Yeah.
It is you.
It is you. It is you.
And let's think about this from a voting block's number. Then we're going to grab a quick call. The largest voting block of women that voted for Donald Trump, white women.
White women, 57% of us.
So the crazy thing about it is, this is why sometimes I think these guys that are supposedly so smart are stupid. Or maybe a better way of putting it, a different way, is that they just don't care.
No, they don't.
So check this out. If white women were not able to vote in the last 3 elections, Donald Trump would not have been elected president in 2 of those 3. That's a fact. That's not Richard Chu's opinion. That's a numeric fact. 52, 56, 57. I think those are the percentages in each of the 3 elections, 16, 20, and 24. So if one of the objectives of Palantir is to take women out of the ability to vote, and SAVE Act is doing the same thing, they're cutting their nose, but not really, because what they want is for white men just to be able to vote, which is going way, way back. But the problem is the registration of white men voters is going down every national election cycle. So who are they going?
So the math isn't mathing.
The math isn't mathing. It just isn't. Let's grab a quick call from John in Palos Hills, Illinois. Hey, John, good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How you guys doing?
Great, man. What's going on with you?
They say, which hopefully is not true, but it's costing us $1 billion a day for this war, right?
Yep.
What is it? Day 13, that's $13 billion. How much would that money, if you put $13 billion in Social Security, how much longer will we be having Social Security?
John, you're brilliant. I mean, I'll put this in the vein that I've said in the last 10 days. And I use the example, I think it was last Friday, of the 3 fighter jets that went down as a result of friendly fire. At the total cost of those, John, $300 million. And I think you may have heard me do the math and broke it down and said, so if we take that $300 million and divide it by the cost of SNAP per one person per month, that's $3,000 a year, 100,000 Americans would be SNAP secure. But we had 3 fighter jets go down at a cost of $300 million in total. So that's just one example. Right. Yours is a great one as well, John. How much more solvent and strengthened would Social Security be? Hell, any of the programs that they cut. And so when we go back, John, now we look at the fact that all these cuts took place last year in the first quarter after Trump was installed again. All that money that was sort of put aside through Doge, and now we've got this wasteless. I mean, it's just you're right, John. The math ain't math, and the numbers ain't adding up. And redirecting those funds would just be brilliant. But we don't. We have people in leadership roles or in roles that I don't call them leadership in these parts of the administration that don't know what the hell they're doing, or they don't care, or a little bit of both.
Or Richard, how about if we put half that money towards Social Security and medical for all, Medicare for all?
Yeah, I mean, John. See, the problem is, John, you're making too much sense. I mean, you're making.
I don't make dollars. I make sense.
let me ask you this question, kind of going back to something that Jody said when she called in, and just kind of ask you this question: what are some of your interactions, John, with people that are in your community, both where you live and in your family community and your friend community? What are some of your conversations like?
I try talking to them, not yelling at them, and try reasoning with them. Some of them get it, some of them don't get it. It's like talking to the concrete wall. Some of them, they don't understand.
Yeah,
they don't care. Some of them.
Do they not? Do they not understand?
The orange Kool-Aid and kept on drinking.
John, do they not understand, or do they not care, or what do you think the percentages would be between don't understand and don't care?
Probably 50-50.
Okay.
Like a couple of years ago, I got into it with my sister when Trump got elected. She's in medical field. You know, she works for hospitals. I go, you're going to be in deep doo-doo crap pretty soon because they're going to get rid of all this stuff, and you might be out of a job. And, you know, We haven't talked since then, and she's starting to come around. She's starting to realize that she might be out of a job with all this medical stuff that they cut from her.
Yeah. John, as always, man, thank you for your support and contribution to the show. Your question is spot on, and your perspective about what we should be doing with this money is right where we need to be. So thank you for that. And stay safe this weekend. Enjoy yourself, but give us a call again in the future. Sound good?
And happy St. Patrick's Day to you all, too.
You too, man. Don't get too drunk. Make your way home. You got to get back to the house.
You got that right.
All right,
Take
John.
care, guys.
Be safe. All right. Bye-bye. Let's go for a quick break, guys. 773-763-9278 is the number. You're listening to Choose Views on WCPT AM 820 in Chicago and WARR 1520 AM and 103.5 FM from Warren County, North Carolina. I'm Richard Chu. We'll be right back.
Who is Kevin Ryan? Hey, that's me. I'm a Chicago public school teacher, union member, and Marine Corps veteran. Most importantly, I am a New Deal Democrat from a new generation, and I am running for the United States Senate to make our government work for all of us, not just the 1%. Now, you might not have heard of me because, well, I am just like you. I don't have millions of dollars to spend on TV ads, I'm not backed by a billionaire, and I've been excluded from the debates because I refuse to raise millions of dollars from the 1%. Instead, I am backed by ordinary people like you. I'm the only candidate to campaign in all 102 counties in my campaign school bus, and we fund our campaign by simply passing a hat around. So we thought we'd spend some of that money to introduce our campaign to you on WCPT Radio. If you want to send a real progressive to the United States Senate and not another bought and paid for Democrat, go to kevinryan.com, spread the word, and vote for the candidate endorsed by Illinois progressives. My name is Kevin Ryan, I'm running for the U.S. Senate, and I approve this message. Paid for by people of Illinois and Kevin Ryan.
You know, winter in Chicago hits hard. Is your home ready to stay warm and energy efficient? At Green Attic, they help you fight back against the cold. They're Chicagoland's trusted experts in attic insulation, spray foam, crawl space encapsulation, and mold remediation, solutions that lock in warmth and cut your heating bills. If your upstairs feels freezing or your furnace never stops running, your attic might be the culprit. Their team seals in comfort and stops energy waste at the source. Need roofing? Their sister company, Green Attic Roofing, offers asphalt, flat, premium roofs, and even Tesla solar roofs, all backed by a 10-year labor warranty and instant online quotes. Winter storms don't wait. Replace that aging roof now and protect your investment. With over 15 years of experience and more than 1,000 five-star reviews, Green Attic delivers real comfort, real savings, season after season. Visit greenattic.com for a free insulation consultation or go to greenatticroofing.com for your instant roofing estimate. Green Attic, healthy home, happy family.
You're listening to WCPT 820. Here's the latest Chicago weather update.
From the Weatherology Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Laura Lockwood. A high wind warning continues until 4 p.m. this afternoon. Rain showers likely overnight, otherwise cloudy skies expected. Lows level off around 39. Southwest winds 20 to 25 miles per hour. Cloudy skies with a few peaks of sun. Friday, daytime highs approaching 48. Lows level off around 31. Friday night, mainly cloudy skies expected. And that's your latest Chicago weather update. Currently, it's 45 degrees.
Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT 820, where facts matter.
He's not here to yell. He's here to inform and maybe stir the pot. This is Choose Views with Richard Chu.
Hey, guys, welcome back to the show. Make sure you are checking out our candidate interviews by going to our WCPT homepage and going to our Facebook page. We got all this great stuff that you should be plugging yourself into with the posting of our candidate interviews at heartlandsignal.com. /candidates. You will be able to pull a lot of the interviews that we've done. Myself, Patty, Joan, Edwin. So make sure you make your way over there. Let's grab a quick call. Mary Pat, good morning and welcome to Choose Views.
Good morning. I'm on my commute into the city as usual. What my concern is, and the point I wanted to make, is that the Republicans are just all about creating hopeless, impossible situations for people, ordinary working people, to cope with. Mm-hmm. This SAVE Act thing, I read one article that said me, a white woman who took my husband's name when I got married 43 years ago, that I'm expected to go get a passport and I can somehow get a birth certificate, a copy of my birth certificate with my name corrected on it. Well, how is that possible?
Yeah.
That was the name that I came into the world with that my parents gave me.
That's right.
And I'm still the same person.
Mm-hmm.
So how can that piece of paper change and ultimately take away my right to vote?
Yeah. Mary Pat, first of all, thanks for your call as always. And I always put this out there to stay safe as you're commuting. We love you for calling on your way in. But, this is at the end of the day, and I know a lot of people hate it when I say this, but it's the truth about this subject, and others back me up, is that this is a bunch of candidly feckless, weak, worried about their lives guys, and more specifically, white guys in America, that are worried about their position being disrupted. They want to create all these obstacles, which tells me what I've always known, is that they're not that great. They're not that strong. President Obama talks about this in some of his interviews on The Pivot and all the smoke. You walk into these rooms and you go, these guys aren't that amazing.
No.
They've just had access and privilege.
That's right.
And so that's been outed, Mary Pat, in the major ways by women like you and like Karen and young cats like Henry that have said, no, they're not all that bag of chips or whatever. And
I've been in close proximity to them, and no, they're not.
And so so this pushback, or Mary Pat, what's happening is this is their way of pushing back because they recognize that they are not, the coup de grace of society. So, yeah, I hear you loud and clear. We have to fight this. We've got to keep talking about it. We can't sleep on it. And I believe that as we continue to do that, then we will be able to win this fight. So that's my take in this moment.
Can I just ask, do you have the latest? When are they going to schedule a vote, or when are they supposed to vote on this in the Senate?
I saw something this morning on the way in. I didn't get a chance to pull it and vet it. That John Thune, who's the Senate Majority Leader, wants to get this to the table in the next week or so. And so I think that part of what they wanted, the reason that they want to get this out there as quickly as they can, is that they want to be able to have it be a voter suppression item, a voter suppression item for some of these special elections. During next week. Okay. So that's what they're looking to do. They want to be able to have some impact, if for no other reason than to be a suppressive tool for a lot of the special elections. And I'll give you one that comes to mind immediately, and that's the race that Sean Harris is in down in Georgia. They want to suppress people from showing up. So the quicker they can get this out there, the better that they can, the more they can rely on this being something that'll have people go, well, you know what, I'm just not going to vote. So it's not just the midterms that they're trying to impact. They're trying to impact some of the specials. That's my take on it. So.
Well, and strategy-wise, I mean, we need to burn up the phone lines and be calling these senators and tell them to vote no on this thing. It's not saving anything. It's not saving anyone. And phone number for the U.S. Capitol switchboard is 202-224-3121. And I know Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff are Democrats, and they're going to vote no, as are Tammy Duckworth and Richard Durbin. So can I just suggest that people start calling around the tree and calling other senators in other states and at least letting them know your opinion?
Absolutely.
So they get the numbers saying there's opposition out there.
Yeah, and to be honest, put it on your list to call your senator or the senator that's in your state or a blue state senator, U.S. senator, but also call some Republicans.
Absolutely.
I think it's important to call some Republicans, not just the Democratic senators, but call the Republicans as well.
Yeah, Mary Pat, to your point, because I think that this is exactly the moment where, because usually they'll say, leave the phone lines open for the constituents so that they can call their representatives. But you're exactly right, Mary Pat, because this is a federal law. This is going to be a federal thing.
Yep.
This is taking away our rights of, the people in Illinois of being able to have their Secretary of State determine.
Texas has 2 Republican senators, but they have some strong blue areas in the state. Dallas, Austin, San Antonio, Houston. What do they all have in common? Large metropolitan areas full of diversity.
Yep.
But they've got 2 Republican senators. So the people in those should be calling their senators, even though they may be from a heavily blue area of the state of Texas. They need to be calling their Republican senators' offices. So your point is well taken, Mary Pat.
So the other, I know John Cornyn. Who's the other Texas senator?
Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz.
Oh.
Yeah. Cancun Cruz.
Yeah.
Cancun Cruz. And I just want a tidbit here. When, we might be all jacked up about this and angry about it, but you have to attract more flies with honey than you do vinegar. So when you call these Republican senators' offices, be nice to the person who may pick up the phone just so you can get your point across.
That's right.
That's an excellent point, Mary Pat. Wow, smartest kid in the room. Move to the front of the room, Mary Pat. Thanks for your call today. I'm glad I put a smile on your face, and enjoy the rest of your day. Be safe in your commute, okay?
Okay, you too. Thanks.
All right, bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
All right, so I'm gonna throw some more stuff at all of us.
Okay.
Did you guys see?
Oh.
Did you guys see this one, Karen? I definitely want to get your thoughts on this.
Oh,
did you see that Kash Patel now wants to have our FBI agents and officers be trained by having folks from the UFC come down to Quantico. Look, wait.
Come on.
You all should see the faces. If you could see the faces, those that are watching on Facebook Live, you should see the faces of Mike, of Henry, and of Whitney, and of course, Karen. Kash Patel, y'all check this out. Just pay attention.
Come on now.
Wants to have the UFC come to Quantico to train FBI agents when it comes to fighting.
Using our tax dollars?
Using our tax dollars. Now, I would say, because I know a few folks that are in the military, in and former, that they know how to fight. To this day, my brother-in-law is retired from the Marine Corps, and I still won't mess with him. He's beyond those days of being the badass Marine he was back in the day. I still won't mess with him. If he's sitting across from me, I don't move too quickly. Think I'm lying? Ask my wife, Ann. She'll tell you. I don't want to see a tax dollar go toward the UFC so that Kash Patel can get his jollies off having FBI agents be trained by who? UFC, a private corporation?
Right.
Using our tax dollars? Come on, y'all. Karen?
Follow the money. Follow the money. And I'm sure that the heads of the UFC probably donated a heck of a lot of money to. And
they're about to get that donation back in even bigger dollars.
Exactly. And I mean, I would pay some money to see Kash Patel cage match with, like, say, who could we get? Just like a Democrat, from a Democrat, just cage match.
Eric Swalwell.
Eric Swalwell
would whoop that behind.
Yeah. Certainly intellectually.
Mike's like, come on, Rich, what about me?
Yeah. Mike back there,
listen,
cage match. I'd cage match him.
I was just getting ready to say, why wouldn't you?
I would.
Shoot. I wouldn't mess with you on a bad day.
I bite.
Mike and I would be like, nah. Right, Mike? We'd be like, nah. We'll let Karen, we'll leave her alone.
This is an idiocracy. We are in full-on idiocracy.
Come on
now.
They want to spend our tax dollars on having UFC fighters at Quantico training some of the best trained folks on the planet. What is a UFC fighter going to teach a grizzled master sergeant in the Marine Corps? That master sergeant is going to whoop that UFC fighter's behind.
Absolutely.
Because here's the difference. This is what people don't understand. And we're going to go to a break after this. Here's what people don't understand about the idiocracy of this. UFC fighters are trained to take a person to a point where there's a tap out. There's a referee there that says, okay, this person's, they're done.
Mm-hmm.
Marines are trained to kill you.
Yeah.
Let's go to a quick break. 773-763-9278 is a number. You're listening to Choose Views on WCPT AM 820 in Chicago and WARR 1520 AM and 103.5 FM from Warren County, North Carolina. I'm Richard Chu. We'll be right back.
Come on.
It's the truth. I read it on CNN Politics.
Come on. I can't. I'm not going to
Robin Kelly grew up behind the register in her dad's grocery store. So she knows what it means when the same groceries cost more each week. Under Donald Trump, corporations get tax breaks, loopholes, and a green light to price gouge. Families get higher grocery bills, higher childcare costs, high healthcare premiums. It's Trump's economy. Corporate profits first, people last. In Congress, Robin Kelly's been fighting back. Robin took on insurance companies to lower drug costs. She wrote the law extending Medicaid for new moms to a full year because cutting care after 60 days was just wrong. And now Robin Kelly is running for Senate with a people over profits agenda. Medicare for all, so healthcare isn't a ripoff. Cap on childcare costs so families can work. And crack down on corporate price gouging so you're not punished at every turn. People over profits. Robin Kelly for U.S. Senate.
I'm Robin Kelly, Democrat running for U.S. Senate, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Robin Kelly for Senate.
Hey Progressives, it's Richard Chu, host of Choose Views weekdays 6 to 8 a.m. Central. We're all anxious for the 2026 midterm election to arrive so we can restore some sanity and much needed oversight to our government. In fact, it's the most important midterm election in American history, and Choose Views will be in the thick of it, bringing you candidate interviews on a regular basis. I'll be talking to Democratic Party hopefuls running for House and Senate at the federal and state level, as well as candidates for governor and other state and local offices.
I am in love with our ability to fight for our rights, to fight for our future, to fight for our freedoms, to fight as our ancestors fought. It's just our moment. This is just our time to stand up and to speak up. We can't give up on this.
If you miss any of the interviews live, you'll be able to find them all on WCPT's candidate interviews page at heartlandsignal.com/candidates. That's Choose Views weekdays from 6 to 8 a.m. on WCPT, Chicago's progressive talk for 20 years.
Serving part-time in the Army National Guard has led to a lot of firsts for me. The education assistance I received made it possible for me to be the first person in my family to go to school and graduate debt-free. That education helped get me to the first day at my dream job, a job that I can still hold while I serve part-time. That job, plus the other benefits possible from the Army National Guard, helped me become a first-time homeowner. Also, part of my role as a National Guard soldier means I know that I can be one of the first to respond and help my community if disaster ever strikes. I'm extremely proud that I get to serve my community, and that first step I took by joining the Army National Guard has made all the difference in my life. Talk to your local recruiter or visit NationalGuard.com to find out what firsts are available to you in the Army National Guard.
Sponsored by the Illinois Army National Guard, aired by the Illinois Broadcasters Association and this station.
Because facts matter. You're listening to WCPT 820.
He's not here to yell. He's here to inform and maybe stir the pot. This is Choose Views with Richard Chu.
All right, guys, welcome back to the show. I told everybody at the top of the show this morning that I was a little salty today. And salty because Karen's word is idiocracy. Is that what you called it?
That's it.
That's where we are. We're wasting money left and right. And let me change that up. Not left and right politically. We're wasting money because of the knuckleheads that are in this administration that are in office. Mm-hmm. We've got a war. That's a waste of money. Thank you, John, for reminding us of that. We've got law enforcement, ICE in cities. That's a waste of money and costing people's lives and livelihood. We've got guys that are trying to stop folks from voting in a country that says it's about democracy. And then we've got
Cash Patel.
Mr. Google
Google Eyes.
Mr. Google Eyes wants to...
Frat boy
wants to bring UFC fighters to train our FBI agents.
That'd be a no.
Yet, the Democrats get panned as the do-nothing party, the people that aren't, all those things. We have to rise up, y'all. We have to stop cutting ourselves off. It doesn't mean we don't challenge ourselves. Doesn't mean we don't do things to make ourselves better as a Democratic Party. But doggone it, this is Republican garbage right now. Mm-hmm. This is Republican garbage on steroids. Everything I just listed, and those are just 4 areas, because they're of the moment, is caused by Republicans. A Democrat didn't say we want UFC fighters to go to Quantico and train our agents. A Republican did in this administration. So when I call out, I say things about Trump every now and again, but I really lean more in the direction of the entire administration.
The entire party.
And the entire GOP. Mm-hmm. That means your cousin, who's off in some craziness right now. Anyhow, Karen. Oh.
Every single look. This is wash, rinse, repeat. You have a Republican come in. They trash the economy. They run up the deficit. They ruin everything. Okay, and this is let's just go back to George W. Bush. He was handed a surplus.
Yep.
From Bill Clinton.
Yep.
Okay, the Supreme Court decides the election. Takes it away from Al Gore, who would have done massive things on climate initiatives.
Just so many things.
So many things would have been different.
We'd still have Roe. We'd have better people. We'd have
better judges.
Cleaner jobs. Just the list goes on.
Supreme Court. On and on and on. Democrats then come in. President Obama, after we've been driven into a ditch by the drunken frat boy and Cheney and Rumsfeld. Okay. And Obama comes in. And he starts fixing it. Mm-hmm. And because it's not fast enough for some people, they don't show up in the midterms.
Forgetting how awful the previous 8 years were and how they endured that.
Exactly.
But
and then
now,
they don't show up for them in the midterms.
In the midterms. But Obama didn't do it fast enough.
Right. And then I heard from people, well, it didn't happen fast enough. But it happened. And that was despite massive opposition from the Republican Party. A Republican Party that, while people were losing their homes, losing their jobs, the economy's crashing, decided that they were going to go ahead and vote against and halt everything that he was trying to do to help the American people.
John Boehner, all the brinkmanship that President Obama would say.
Exactly. So, so this is the Republican Party. It did not start with Donald Trump, and it's not going to end with Donald Trump. And until people understand that people like Stuart Stevens, who was a Republican strategist for years and wrote a book, it was all a lie. Believe it. Yep. Believe it. It was all a lie. They have been lying to you to take your cookies and give them to their 1%, right?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, scapegoating and telling y'all that the people that are taking your jobs are brown people, okay?
And two smart, fancy women.
Exactly. And guess what? That's not happening. And now we have AI coming in, literally taking your jobs. Mm-hmm. Literally. I know 3 people that have lost their jobs because of AI.
And unfortunately, more is coming.
That's right.
More is coming. Listen, Alex Karp, the CEO of Palantir, said that that's what their objective is, and they want to start with women. Mm-hmm. Because of a bunch of punk A frat boys who can't compete if the playing field is level.
That's right.
That's what it ultimately is, guys. Please, please, please understand that. That is the truth. Let's not shy away from it. Let's not look away from it and pretend like, oh, no, Richard, you're just, you're playing the race card or the gender card or the LGBTQ card. No. Well, and you know what? So what if I am? Yeah, I'm playing it.
It's the truth.
It's the truth. Why should I not play it? It's right there in front of me. I'm going to play that card.
It's because we don't talk about it, because we don't call it out.
Right. But let somebody that is of this ilk, who's trying to cause what Palantir and Karp are saying, let them get a little bit disjointed. They're going to whine all day long about, and this latest thing about white men being discriminated against.
Oh, no. Where's the tissues? You got tissues in this place?
White men being discriminated against.
Oh, no.
Oh, poor guys. What, Daddy didn't get you your BMW for your 16th, and 18th, and 21st birthdays, and you're being discriminated. Lord have mercy. Karen, what you got to say as we wrap up today?
What I have to say is pay attention, people. Have the conversations with people that you can actually reach, that are listening, that are starting to, and even some people that are starting to wake up. Okay. Talk to people, help them get mail-in ballots. We have, the election is on Tuesday now. Help people get to the polling places.
Yep.
Last week, I had a great conversation with one of the women that I met at the ICE detention facility who kind of, was apolitical, kind of fell for the both sides do it, whatever, vote, Democratic. But she had her 3 relatives who were elderly and had not voted in several elections. And so she called me up and she said, can you help me get them their mail-in ballots? And I said, absolutely. So she came over. We got them their mail-in ballots. They're going to participate in the midterm election.
There you go.
In the primaries.
In the primaries.
And in the midterms.
Yeah, so it's about taking action. It's finding, I say this all the time, guys, finding things to do. And sometimes, all the time, if you don't know, then call a local office, a political office. Call your state Democratic chair's office and say, what can I do to help? It can be that simple.
Those are the little things that everybody should be doing right now. Like there's no point in having conversations if you're not going to get a little uncomfortable. Okay, having political conversations right now is essential.
It's essential.
If we want to save our democracy and get out of this.
It's rewarding as heck.
It sure is.
All right, Karen Byrne from TruBlu Politics Podcast has been hanging with us this morning. Thanks to all of you who have called in today. If you're commuting or whatever you're doing, please be careful. It's windy out there here in the Chicagoland area and the upper Midwest. But for everybody throughout the rest of the country, stay tuned for the Stephanie Miller Show. Take a deep breath, y'all, and make your life count. We will see you next week.
Okay.
WCPT 820 listeners, it's time for some girls news. As AI integrates into the workforce, it is creating a digital glass ceiling that heavily impacts women. In high-income countries, 9.6% of jobs held by women are at a high risk of automation by AI, compared to only 3.5% of the jobs that are held by men. Of the 6.1 million employees that would have the hardest time adapting to AI-related job loss, 86% are women. Despite advancement, women hold just 26% of AI-related jobs globally, and 15% are in leadership positions. AI hiring tools and systems themselves are trained on male data, meaning they are more likely to recommend men for higher paying jobs. WCPT 820 listeners, I'm Whitney Rydell, and this is WCPT 820's Girls News.
Hey, it's the Paulacious one. I'm up on the transmitter trying to power us up so you can hear us on 820. But if you can't hear us on the radio, you can also hear us on heartlandsignal.com, Spotify, iTunes, TuneIn Radio app, and SoundCloud.com/WCPT820. It's the Sports Cubicle, 9 p.m. on Sundays on WCPT. Whoa!
The Sports Cubicle, Sunday nights at 9 p.m. on WCPT 820, where facts matter.
If you want your children to read, remember, the special ingredient is you. Spend time with your family, building bonds through reading. Those stories, those memories will last forever.
This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Amazon Business empowers leaders with smart business buying tools, leaving time to focus on strategy and growth. Free up your teams and focus on your future at AmazonBusiness.com.
AP News, I'm Haya Pinjwani. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has said that Iran's new supreme leader, Mojtaba Khamenei, is wounded.
Iran's leadership is in no better shape. Desperate and hiding, they've gone underground, cowering. That's what rats do. We know the new so-called not-so-supreme leader is wounded, and likely disfigured.
Hegseth added that over 15,000 enemy targets have been struck, which is more than 1,000 a day since the war began on February 28th. The suspect in a synagogue attack has been identified, AP correspondent Mike Hempen.
Authorities say the suspect in the Michigan synagogue attack was a naturalized citizen born in Lebanon. Federal officials say the armed man who rammed his vehicle into Temple, Israel in West Bloomfield Township near Detroit has been identified as 41-year-old Ayman Mohammed Ghazali. He came to the U.S. in 2011 on an immigrant visa as the spouse of a U.S. citizen. The Department of Homeland Security says Ghazali was granted U.S. citizenship in 2016. The FBI special agent in charge, Jennifer Runyon, describes the attack as deeply disturbing and tragic.
We are leading the investigation right now as a targeted act of violence against the Jewish community.
Security officials fatally shot Ghazali after he drove through a hallway. I'm Mike Hempen.
Federal officials are saying that the attacker had lost 4 family members in an Israeli airstrike in his native Lebanon last week. Nearly every part of the United States is getting walloped by wild weather, or just about to be. Days of downpours have begun in Hawaii. The Southwest will soon bake with day-after-day record-breaking 100-degree-plus heat. 2 storms will dump snow by over a foot over northern Great Lakes states, and a dreaded polar vortex will again invade the Midwest and East with Arctic chill. This is AP News. In a rare bipartisan move, the Senate approved a bill meant to make it easier to become a homeowner. The AP's Jennifer King.
The Senate has passed and sent to the House a bill to make U.S. housing more accessible and affordable. Democratic Senator Elizabeth Warren hailed the measure, which passed with bipartisan support, 89 for and 10 against.
It will make sure that families own those homes, not giant corporations looking to jack up the rent and squeeze every nickel of profit they can.
The bill is intended to reduce regulations, regulate corporate investors, and expand how housing dollars can be used to build affordable homes and rentals. President Trump has backed the bill.
No, you'd have these firms go out and buy 2,000 houses. We don't want it. We want you to buy the houses, not them.
But it's unclear if it will get signed right away. Last weekend, Trump suggested he won't sign any new measures unless Congress passes legislation that would require voters to show proof of citizenship. Jennifer King, Washington.
I'm Haya Pinjwani, AP News.
This is 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and streaming worldwide at WCPT820.com. We are Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter. Now, your WCPT 820 weather update.
From the Weatherology Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Laura Lockwood. A high wind warning continues until 4 p.m. this afternoon. Rain showers likely overnight, otherwise cloudy skies expected. Lows level off around 39. Southwest winds 20 to 25 miles per hour. Cloudy skies with a few peaks of sun Friday. Daytime highs approaching 48. Lows level off around 31. Friday night, mainly cloudy skies expected. And that's your latest Chicago weather update. Currently, it's 45 degrees.
This is Chicago's progressive talk, 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and online at WCPT820.com, where facts matter.
Election night is almost here. Join us for the WCPT Election Night Special on Tuesday, March 17th from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m., hosted by Joan Esposito, Richard Chu, and me, Patty Vasquez.
Election Day coverage will start with Joan Esposito live, local and progressive from 2 to 5, and Driving It Home with Patty Vasquez from 5 to 7.
WCPT will have reporters all over Chicagoland with updates from state and local candidates' election headquarters.
The WCPT Election Day coverage and the WCPT Election Night Special are sponsored by Fazio Insurance,
an independent insurance agency serving residents and businesses in Will and DuPage counties since 1953.
For more information, contact Paul Fazio at 815-727-2611 or at FazioINS.com.
Remember to join WCPT Radio on Tuesday, March 17th to get the latest primary election news.
See you on the radio at 8:20 a.m. and WCPT820.com.
Robin Kelly grew up behind the register in her dad's grocery store. So she knows what it means when the same groceries cost more each week. Under Donald Trump, corporations get tax breaks, loopholes, and a green light to price gouge. Families get higher grocery bills, higher childcare costs, high healthcare premiums. It's Trump's economy. Corporate profits first, people last. In Congress, Robin Kelly's been fighting back. Robin took on insurance companies to lower drug costs. She wrote the law extending Medicaid for new moms to a full year because cutting care after 60 days was just wrong. And now Robin Kelly is running for Senate with a people over profits agenda. Medicare for all, so healthcare isn't a ripoff. Cap on childcare costs so families can work. And crack down on corporate price gouging so you're not punished at every turn. People over profits. Robin Kelly for U.S. Senate.
I'm Robin Kelly, Democrat running for U.S. Senate, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Robin Kelly for Senate.
She was born on the south side of Chicago, the daughter of a teacher and Navy veteran. Now she's running for U.S. Senate to fight for us, Juliana Stratton. As Lieutenant Governor, she fought with Governor Pritzker to get assault weapons off our streets. She raised our wages and delivered paid time off. And Juliana Stratton is endorsed by Governor Pritzker because she'll be a partner to him in Washington. In the Senate, Stratton will stand up to Donald Trump to defend our rights and lower our costs.
If there's ever been a time that we need fighters in Washington, it's right now. I will be that fighter. People are tired of the status quo, and they are looking for people who will meet this moment. I want to fight to give the people what they want.
Endorsed by Governor Pritzker, Juliana Stratton for Senate. Because you deserve a fighter. Paid for by Illinois Future PAC. IllinoisFuturePAC.com. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. Illinois Future PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Hey Google, play WCPT.
Streaming Chicago's progressive talk from TuneIn.